everybody. This is Dr. Bill Janishek, and welcome back to the Conquering Stress podcast. You can see it right here. If you haven't been here, we are talking about all things stress, and stress is physical, chemical, and emotional. And we want to cover all those things in because most people, we just say, I'm stressed, and you actually will have your own definition. Some people, when they're stressed, they get a headache and they don't feel good and they can't think straight. Some people get ulcers and constipations and migraines, and some people just get pissy. And whatever it is, it'll fall in one of those categories. And like I said, and not only you'll notice it mostly in like where you get it, but if you stop and look, it will also be affecting other areas of your life. So if you get a headache, you're probably not sleeping well. You might be constipated, get some digestive stuff going on. And stress is actually not a bad thing. It's made to make us survive. The problem that we have is that we have such chronic stress, and we have it in all sorts of degrees. Back in the old days, back when Joe Biden was a kid, it was would have a saber-toothed tiger, and we would running around, and we'd run away from that, would climb a tree, would finally get away, and then we would get over it. But nowadays, we have physical stress, we have chemical stress, the airs that we're breathing, the foods that we're eating, oh my God, and the things that are in the foods, and traffic, and we have taxes, and we have everything else that we're going through. But there's a way around that. And to finally conquer stress is we've got to just take a look at it. And it all starts with education and awareness. And you don't have to be a PhD, an MD, a DC, or a neurologist or anything else. You just got to be in the midst and being aware about how your body works and how you can take control over that and finally conquer stress. So we will look at exercise and fitness and all this other stuff. But today I wanted to bring on my homie from years back when I was like 2. I think she used to babysit me and go. I'm kidding.
Oh my.
But yeah, the I want to bring on Paula Schlue, who's your story is amazing, Paula. Paula is an amazing in so many different ways. We massage therapist, dancer, great mom, great wife, and a leader in colon hydrotherapy. And people go, what the heck is that? And
Mhm.
it's colonic, but it's all based on your physiology. And I've been using your services for years and years. I recommend your services for years and years because it's important. So, with that being said, welcome. How are you doing today? Having a
Thank
good time?
you. Thanks for having me here. I'm doing great. Doing great. No, I did not babysit you.
So we first met in junior high, and
Calder?
yeah, Calder, and
Yeah.
good old Buena Park High School, go Coyotes. And where I was shy and reserved, and you were out there.
Were you
We'll
shy
just
and reserved in high school?
yeah, we'll just go with that. How about that? uh, Paula always active,
Okay.
song, dance, and everything else. And as we grew up and got away, I was became a young chiropractor back in the day, and I found out they said, Paul is a massage therapist. You got to go find her, and we got together and caught up, and it was an interesting thing. But I want you to kind of go through your history about, you were a Rams cheerleader, your journey. How did you get to where you were today? Just give us a little background on you. Can you got me?
Wow. We don't have that much time, Bill. So
Well, how'd you run
what
into
was
your
that?
journey of
You
health?
hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So okay. I didn't know because we were freezing. Okay. Well, yeah. So I've always been interested, obviously, in activities like dancing, and like you said, I was a Rams cheerleader back in 1986 when the Rams were here in Anaheim. Um, and I know, go Rams. Hopefully we could do it this year.
Yeah.
But then I also did aerobics. Like I taught aerobics. That was a grand old time. But always been interested. And then I danced for the Mouse for years, like what, 9 years, I think. Those who don't know who the Mouse is,
We're in Southern California,
Mickey
so
Mouse.
everybody knows the
But
mouse.
yeah, he's the Mouse. He's the king of Anaheim. So yeah, so I've always been interested in, just being active and health related things. And it was just kind of a natural jump for me to get into massage therapy, which I did first. And then was kind of approached by someone who gave me a treatment. He had chronic diverticulitis and he didn't want to go the traditional, doctor's route. So he did more holistic ways of treating his diverticulitis, and he cured himself from doing colonics and detoxing and juicing and all those good things that we do for our gut. And so he kind of approached me. I knew I worked with him in massage therapy and wasn't sure about this whole colonic thing, but I I'm like, well, okay, let me see. How does this work? So he kind of just like trained me. He had a school. So I went to the school and I thought, okay, this is just a natural thing for me to jump from massage therapy into, colonics, because it just went with what I believed in already. I never was someone who took drugs. I didn't like taking medication. I didn't like taking ibuprofen or anything like that. So this was just a nice, refreshing new way for me to keep myself healthy and then also educate myself so I can educate others and my family members and those around me. So that's kind of how my journey went from just being active, being healthy, being in the arena of like gyms, doing aerobics, being a dancer for years, and then massage therapy kind of goes hand in hand with any kind of activity, any kind of health related um, activities or events. That's kind of what I wanted to do, and so that's kind of how my journey brought me here. And of course, I feel like the career found me. Like it wasn't my calling. Like it was just, I mean, it was my calling, but it just found me. So, and I love what I do.
Isn't it funny though that when I talk to people, a lot of people will talk about what they do in life. It's almost like when you can't not do something, it's always whispering to you in the back of your head, and you'll find, God will put things in your path that will, um, it's like you're like, well, no, I kind of want to do this, and he'll put something over there, and whether you want to call it synchronicities, the quantum, it's God, but it's something that where you can't not, and it's one of the
Right.
most frustrating gifts that I think I've ever had was because like, no, I don't want to do this, and then you get in, and when you live in your purpose, it's what I always say. I haven't worked a day since I graduated chiropractic school. It was just like I finally just to get to live and kind of continue what's going on. So you started out now
Yeah.
how did the body center come out of all of this, or when did that come on the journey?
Well, the individual who trained me with his school, it was called West Pacific back then. He had started opening up these centers and wanted me to manage one of them. So I took on that role of management, and then he kind of came to me and said, "Hey, would you like to, open up your own?" And I said, "Sure." What's involved with this? So kind of took on, um, and that's the craziest thing. If you knew what you were going to go through, you know, during the process of a business owner or whatever, you wouldn't have done it. So you just kind of jump in. My favorite, I have a saying up here is, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? So I kind of went into it like thinking, well, this is it's going to work. Like, I had no thought that it wouldn't work. Like, I think that was just the young, invincible us and our thought process. I think that our generation too is pretty strong mentally,
Yeah.
and we just kind of took on what we needed to take on. And I thought, well, this is cool. Yeah, I want to get involved with this. So that's kind of how it started. There was a lot of the centers kind of connected at one point, but then we all separated. And now mine's the Body Center Wellness Suites, because everybody here is their own self-governing business owner. They make their own schedules. They rent the rooms when they want to. They take their own payments. They have their own menu of services. So it's and all pricing. So that's kind of how my journey came to me. And I did at one point I had one in Oakhurst up north. I had one in Riverside at one point, and then I had one in Orange, but we closed that one due to COVID, and we just merged with this one. So now we still have this one in Anaheim Hills standing, but Bill, it's only from the grace of God that we're still here. I mean, blessings still pour down on us, even though we've been through some, tough times, but he still shows us his grace and love and mercy, and I praise him every day for it.
Well, and that's awesome. I mean, when you're set on a path of doing what you're kind of called to do, like you said, the profession has called you, because if you look if you just read the cover of your book and it said colon expert, I know shit, and things like that. But once you kind of get deep down and you see the benefits and you see the more you've looked, and the research over the last 20 years has exploded in what we're finding out about the second brain. And and as that's going out, you're at the forefront. You had a book, I Could Have Saved Elvis. You created supplement lines to help this out, and you've been, I don't know anybody else that goes out publicly and talks about it as much as you do. What did you learn when you were first starting out, like with all the benefit? Actually, just start out with, what is colon hydrotherapy and what are its benefits for the people out there that are listening that have never even heard of this scary, terrible thing that that everybody kind of cringes at when they first hear it?
I know. It kind of blows me away, since I've been doing this for 28 years. It still blows me away that people just don't even know what it is. I mean, there has been some like movies, and I think the Kardashians had it on their show at one point. I actually gave a DJ once a colonic while he was on the air. I don't remember the station. I don't remember the guy's name. It was so long ago. But I mean, there's like episodes and movies like allude to it too. In fact, we just watched a movie and I can't remember the name of it, but they were talking about, oh yeah, I get, weekly colonics. But so it's a gentle cleansing of the large intestine. I'm only dealing with the colon. I mean, we know the gut there's so many parts with the gut system. But I only deal with the colon. That's where the waste is. The waste only gets, it only becomes poop when it goes into the colon. Yep. So it's just a gentle cleansing. Water is introduced into the colon via the rectum. And it's kind of like I'm creating diarrhea in essence, but in a very gentle and slow way. It's not forced. It's not, harsh. It just kind of loosens up the waste. It softens them up. And so that your body recognizes, oh, this is loose. I need to get rid of it. And then the peristalsis kicks in and starts moving the waste out, the gas out, the mucus out, the water out, whatever's in there, pennies, Barbie shoes, whatever, which I've never seen in my life. But I laugh because people ask me all the time, have you seen pennies? Have you seen a Barbie shoe? Have you seen a key? No, I haven't seen any of them.
Well, what's funny is that when I recommend it, and people, the first thing I get is, no, only in through the outdoor. We can't do that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. And I don't want some fire hose stuck up my butt and firing these things out. And then actually I calm them down and I talk them off the ledge. I said, no, I said, think of it more like waves on a beach. They kind of come in, they float
Mm,
back, and it's
that's
very
good.
gentle. It's very, and I
Yeah.
said, actually, once you get over your angst of the
Hmm.
new experience and the setup, and you kind
Hmm.
of get into it, it's one of the most relaxing things that you can get actually do because it's directly for you geeks out there. It's stimulating the parasympathetic system of your nerves. And in our the time that when we're all stressed out, like I said in the intro about we're running away from a saber-toothed tiger, we're always on this fight or flight. Well, that's a different portion of the nervous system. So if you start to engage the other one where you're relaxing, and that's where
Hmm.
all your healing and regeneration and growth comes from the relaxation. And if you're always and then even if you sit there and tell yourself, I'm so relaxed, I could put, oh my God, this is, uh, but when your nervous system is actually engaged, you actually do, because you really can't poop or pee unless you're in a relaxed state. And you can't digest either. So it's all one of those
Right.
things. So um, even if you didn't have any of the major symptoms, it's a good way just to reconnect with your healing energies and things going on.
Right.
Um, so if someone's out there listening and they're going, I don't know if I need one of these, like, we'll just start symptomatically. What are the symptoms that are most likely helped with colon hydrotherapy?
Well, constipation,
Bam.
gas, bloating, digestive issues, gut issues. But in my theory is, and I'm not a doctor or nurse, so I can't recommend or suggest. However, if you've ever, I mean, we just mentioned it before or earlier, our environment, the products that we're using, the stress levels that we're going under. Are you sleeping enough? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough fruits and vegetables? I say if you've been eating from the Garden of Eden since you were a baby, then
Okay.
I guess you don't need a colonic.
True. Yep.
Okay, that's the only people that do not need a colonic is someone who's been eating from the Garden of Eden from the get go
Yeah. And
up
breathing from the
until now.
garden. Yeah. And breathing from the garden. Because you'll pick up
Right,
those
exactly.
toxins through there.
Back then, that environment, back then. So those are the only people I feel that do not need a colonic. Everyone else is all game because we've had something frozen, that we've had something from a can, we've had top ramen, that we've had what were those donut things that we used to eat? I used to eat those in high school. Do you remember those donuts, the
The
six of
the
them?
yeah, the donut gems,
Yes.
chocolate
Oh my,
ones, and
every break I'd eat a whole thing. I mean, gross. That is just gross. And
but
then,
they were
you know,
deliciously gross.
they were, they were. And I had the fried burritos too at lunch and French fries. So I
So
heard now that can I just totally say something? McDonald's French fries, or maybe it wasn't McDonald's, but I heard that it has as many carcinogenics as smoking 24 cigarettes.
wow, I had not heard that. I
Yes.
don't disbelieve it, but I had not heard that. What's interesting is my old partner, he bought a Big Mac and fries.
Ugh,
I think it's 7 years ago, and he has it in his office under just a glass bowl, and it's kind of crumpled up, no mold. Uh,
okay.
it it's still recognizable because anybody listening, I know that you've had your messy ass car for a while, and then you've
Mm,
went to vacuum and you found like where'd that French fry come? It was sitting on the side of the seat down there, and it looks the same.
yeah.
And and you know God bless the foods for the preservatives, but those are all chemicals. And it's funny
Right.
when I talk about uh, in my weight loss class or nutrition classes, I'm talking about, I always say, and I get in trouble for it, but I stand by it 100%, is that detoxification is more important than nutrition, because you can eat from the Garden of Eden,
Hmm.
beautiful foods, but if you can't get the waste products, and everything comes with waste, if you can't get it out of your body,
Right.
you're think about your house. If your garbage disposal and your toilets were backed up and you couldn't have somebody take the trash away, eventually your house is going to stink and you're going to be breathing, and that's where the bugs come from. And that's
Hmm.
why some people are more susceptible to environmental toxins or colds or flus or pandemics or whatever else there is going on. It's because they are toxic. And the obesity, you remember way back in the day, Paula, is like we didn't have obesity. We had a
Hmm.
couple chunky kids that we
Hmm.
called fat, but by today's standards, we just call them normal. Um, but all that fat stores toxin, and it protects your body from them. And some of the people, if you guys are listening to this, one more reason to look up Paula is that if you can't lose weight, it could be because you're so toxic that the body is afraid to let it go into your system because it's going to kill you. It's going to really make you sick. And fat is wonderful. It's a wonderful metabolic thing, but um, yeah, and the biggest buffering system that we have. So those are kind of the low hanging fruit. You're looking at, of course, digestive issue, constipation, anything else. So let's go around deeper in what the people that never heard of this. What else would the colonics help with?
Well, you just touched on something. Um, Maybe because they're not losing weight, that they need to detox. And I always say that we are carrying around so much poison. I mean, I know I don't want to say anything bad about your idol, Elvis,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
but
whoa, 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 whoa. We're breaking up here now, Paula. I don't know. It's a technical issue. Um, well,
God
you wrote a book
bless and
about it.
rest his soul.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
yes.
Um, so go ahead. I'll just tap out here.
No, I'm not going to say anything bad, but we know that he probably died with more waste in his colon than he should have, because they are saying that it was constipation that actually killed him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And John Wayne too.
Constipation was on his autopsy, John Wayne as well. So when we have all that poison in our gut, in our colon, how can our systems, all our systems, be working efficiently and at its top level? It cannot be. We have to get rid of the junk in order for our nutritional foods and our supplements to actually work. And then once we get the junk out, your immune system will start working better and your metabolism will start working better. So, yeah, you can start losing weight. You can start feeling better, not getting so much, not getting sick so often. And maybe, you know, we can get off some of our medications.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
those
mean,
are all, and especially now, go ahead.
no, well, I was just going to say, when you're taking that onto even the tertiary level on mental, physical, sleep. So insomnia and anxiety are one of the thing, and fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, from a large point, toxic burdens. Those are symptoms of toxic burdens. But
Mm-hmm.
because the symptoms are above the shoulders, we don't even think about that. Well, how can that be related to anything below the waist or towards the waist?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. It's just amazing, and on the connections that we're finally figuring out.
Yeah, I mean, we have that brain gut axis. There's a communication between the two brains because they say that, your gut is your second brain. And there's a lot of communication between the two. So if one's not doing good, which is the one down here,
Yeah.
nothing up here is going to start feeling good. Nothing. So it's pretty tremendous when you do get a colonic. And more often than not, my clients will say, "Wow, I just feel like something just drained out of my head. Like I'm like everything's clear. My eyes are clear. Like I don't have a fog anymore." Um, I hear that all the time. But yeah, it's absolutely, and there's so many things that affect that communication. Obviously, it's like, too much sugar, too much processed foods, not enough water, the sleep, all that, the sleep patterns that we hold. Um, so yeah, the connection is right there. I mean, it's 100%. That's why I said that I think that more people need to do detoxing. Even kids need to detox more so than giving them a drug. Like, let's get them clean. Let's get them detox first.
Well, yeah,
Cool.
I mean, definitely because the kids are growing up in this toxic environment more than ever before because I mean, it's no secret that they don't climb trees and throw rocks and ride bikes.
Right.
And so exercise, sweat, and things that how you would normally get things out. But you put that in the environment that's, completely different than it was 40 years ago um, when we were kicking around.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look into the air about what kind of stripes are in the air, what's coming back down there. We didn't have Roundup on everything that's killing the microbiome, and we didn't have all the processed food. I was thinking about this. So you remember in high school, there was a few fast food places, and we all had our networks where our friends worked, so we could trade and move
Yeah.
everything. Uh, I was the king of that because my part-time job was at a liquor store. Not that we were doing anything illegal in high school, but I
Oh
was
no,
very
never.
popular. Um, Different types of toxins, but um, we didn't have food at our fingertips that was brought out, and so many. And even back then, I'm trying to tell my kids about McDonald's back then. At least back then, they made the meat patties there and they weren't processed somewhere
Right.
else and frozen and
Right.
preserved. And so it wasn't that bad. And then we didn't eat as much of them as they are now. So the kids are growing up toxic.
Yeah.
And
So much so.
so that leads me to another question. Like, are you getting more kids into your practice?
Not so much. I mean, are you talking about kids like 20 or 20 below?
I'm talking about 15 and below.
No, we don't. Very rarely do we do that. I mean, I welcome it, obviously, with the adults, with their parents' permission, but no, I I think their systems are young and it's fresh. I mean, fresher than somebody who's 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And I think that they can start with just supplementation and juicing and fasting, intermittent fasting, and getting them off the processed foods first. Because I think that their bodies can regenerate much quicker than somebody my age.
That's
You were talking about,
27 now? Is that how old you are?
yes, yes, thank you. 27. I don't even know when I graduated high school. um, but you were talking about the fast food. I think that fast food back then was actually supposed to be fast food, like fast, decent, healthy food. It wasn't junk food. It was decent because we ate at fast foods all the time, but none of us were, we were like, we were all still healthy and still slim and trim and, doing active things.
Well, that's what
Now, I
I
think,
remember, and you same thing. So for as much as you danced and I
Mhm.
was in whatever sports of the thing. I remember I would go to McDonald's and I would eat like 4 Big Macs, 2 big fries, some of
Right.
those those cherry pies that always burnt. I don't know how they had them at those temperatures. We'd have a Coke and everything else and go work, but it all turned into muscle because hormones
Right.
flying in it at that age and being active. We could have ate anything,
Right.
and now
And it was, yeah, it was healthier back then. It was healthier fast food. Now it's just junk food, junky junk food.
absolutely. So it's all about gut health, colon health, and we've covered the uh, colon hydrotherapy. Um, we've talked about Elvis, which is always something important to talk about on all my episodes here. Uh, so, what kind of
Long live the king.
supplementation? With supplementation. So, what someone comes to you and they're going, okay, I'm toxic. I bought in on the colonics and the gut brain access, and I want to be healthy. Do you have a protocol for supplementation that they should also add or make sure that they have in there?
Yeah, so I just recently partnered with a company called 3 International last year, and they do have 6 products, which they all work together, but they offer, a different, they do different things for your body. Like one's a daily supplement, one's an anti-inflammatory, one is for a gentle detox. Then we have one that's an antioxidant, and then there's also like one for immune system, and then there's a collagen. So there's 6 different products, but I start my clients on 3 of them: the Purify, the Immune, and the Vitalite. Those 3 are excellent for gut health. It has a the bioavailability in these supplements are far beyond I've anything that I've ever seen in all the years that I've been in, any type of health industry. They are third party tested, they're certified, and they are in the PDR, which is the PDR.net, which is the prescriber's digital reference, which is very unusual for a supplement company to be in there because a physician can go in there. That's where they get their medication. Like they can say, oh, okay, what medication do you need? Because you're inflamed everywhere. Well, now they can go and they can see that 3 International has a product called Revive, which is an anti-inflammatory. Now the cellular absorption on these is like kick butt. Like it's 40 to 90%, where most supplements are anywhere from 5 to 10. So you're not really getting much of the supplements and you're just peeing it out afterwards.
So let let's go back on there. And first, I want to explain, make sure everybody knows what bioavailability means. It means just you can take whatever says on the pill, but what gets into your body is a different
Right,
story. And that's
right,
because you are not what you eat. You are only what you absorb. And I want to
correct.
kind of go back.
Yes.
We talked about, so you have a true nutraceutical that you want to get in the body, you want to do like that. And then we just talked about like when you get stopped up and you're toxic and your gut health is not good, you're not absorbing well anyways. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens if you go to, say, a big box store and you get the least expensive supplement in there? Do you actually see the bedpan bullets, what the nurses call them? I've had nurses that said they go in the bedpan and they can read the label on either the supplement and sometimes the medication that they're taking.
Right,
Do
right.
you see that a lot? I know you don't see Barbie shoes and keys and stuff, but do you see these supplements?
No, I've never seen anything like that come through my tube. But I mean, rest assured, there's so many products out there that have fillers and the carcinogenics, and it's the percentage of them absorbing anything is 5 to 10% at best. It's going through their digestive system. This company created 11 different delivery systems. Dr. Dan Gubler is the formulator, and he has 11 different delivery systems, which will penetrate that molecular, the mitochondria of the cell, and it doesn't have to go through the digestive system. So it gets right into that cell, and that's why people are seeing such huge results even just after 3 days of taking it. Just depending on what product they're on, like what they're feeling. But the three that I do start off with, with anybody who just needs the gentle detox and the pre and the probiotics, and helping with their immune system, and then just the dailies are just the three: the purify, immune, and the vitalite, which is 3 of the 6.
So
But
with you have nutraceuticals, and then I know that the nutraceuticals that I use in my office, they're only available through, licensed, functional medicine people or doctors or something like that. With the 3 international, do they have to get a prescription from someone? Do you prescribe it? Is it online access, or how would someone get these things?
well, it's online. You can get it online through my website, for one. But I mean, we know that physicians are prescribing it to their patients now because it is in the PDR, and there is over, I think, 900 doctors that have partnered up with this company because they have never seen anything like, as far as the bioavailability that we were talking about in the cellular absorption. But no, they don't have to have a prescription. It's because it is a supplement, but it is pharmaceutical grade, and it is plant-based, and it is food grade. But
Okay,
you
so
don't.
you can put the link. We'll put the link in the show notes here, and they can
Yeah,
get them
we
right
can do
there.
that. Yeah, you just get it online straight from my website.
All right. Well, cool. The other thing, so someone's at home, they're sitting here and they're going like, "Oh my God, Paula is so amazing. I'm going to take my gut seriously."
Mm.
And they're sitting at home and they're calling, and they've booked their colonic with you. And what else can they do? They're sitting at home right now. There's someone who's going through with all that stuff. What are they doing first thing what are 3 things that they can do right now to start loving their colon and their digestive system?
One, I say up their intake in water. Number one,
Perfect.
basic, just super basic. Start intermittent fasting, because that really helps to, at night, our digestive system is healing and repairing itself. And it's like a natural detox when we sleep. So the longer you do that, the better it's going to be for your digestive system to reset. So I say do, some sort of intermittent fasting, however many hours you can do, and maybe do a 3-day juice, like green juices, not so much sugary juices, but more green. I mean, obviously we know sugar is bad for us, but the sugar that's derived from fruits and vegetables is naturally better, obviously, because it's combined with your fiber. So it's not as dangerous as refined white sugar.
Okay, so let's
But
make it a little clearer for somebody. So when you say not sugar green juices, are you talking about like some that they'll buy over the counter that have like sugar cane in it or something like that? What do you mean by
well,
non-sugar?
sugar, because, like, okay, an apple, orange, pineapple with some kale and spinach is going to have a lot more sugar in it than kale, spinach, celery, and a green apple. I'm just saying, have green juices, fresh, organic green juices with as little fruits as possible.
Okay. Okay, so now with the green juices too, like if someone's getting like pure kale juice or spinach juice or something like that, sometimes that's a little it gets them going really quick. Is there Do you recommend like water or diluting it a little or taking maybe a cup, or is there a certain way, or just kind of personal tolerance?
You're just saying about the green? Well,
Just about the green
there's
juices.
so many different, yeah, there's so many different protocols out there. I don't really have a protocol, but I just say doing 6 green juices a day. And then maybe combine it with a green salad, or maybe 4 green juices a day and then combining it with a green salad. No, I just say go ahead and do the whole thing with, just juicing, like
All right.
celery, kale, parsley, cucumber, all those. And there's so many different places out there too that will provide, you for a daily intake of 6 green juices for a good detox. And I just say like 3 days. I mean, you can do anything for 3 days. And so doing juice cleanses, that's going to help you. I mean, you can start that at home and drinking more water, and definitely doing some intermittent fasting.
Excellent. Those are great things that you do. Now, what do you recommend for the average person? So they had some digestive issues, they were constipated, they came to you, and they're good to go. Do you recommend monthly, quarterly, bi-yearly? How often? You mentioned
You
that
mean
you
for the?
get a colonic weekly. You give yourself a colonic weekly. Um,
Mhm. I'm a little obsessed.
no, you go on, girl. You're not obsessed. Um, but for one thing, then you can do them weekly, and it's obviously not detrimental.
Mm-mm.
Um, but the normal person that doesn't have a colonic machine at home or at their office at their disposal, I mean, what would you recommend for your son or your mother-in-law?
So one of the reasons why I give myself one is because I know, even though I eat super clean, at least I try to eat super clean. Um, it's We talked about the environment, the products that we're using. I know I'm not as great as, like, everything should be natural. Well, dryer sheets, laundry detergent, deodorant, lotions, shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, nail polish, you name it. Those are all have toxins in them of some sort, and you're getting it absorbed in your skin. So that's kind of, and plus I'm right here. I'm here at work, 6 days a week. So of course I'm just going to pop in and give myself a treatment. But because I'm not a nurse or a doctor, I can test Association for Colon Therapy, which is our organization, uh, Universal. They have, and they'll post it on their site, to 10 of them, combined with like a good,
Oh, you froze a little there on me. It must
because
have been
you
something good that they
don't
closed you down.
want to have, what was that?
You froze on there.
Wait,
So
say that
so go
again.
back to the colon Federation or whatever it is that you were talking
Oh,
about.
it's called IACT.org. It's the International Association for Colon Therapy. Um, they have said in the past doing anywhere from 3 to 10 sessions in a very short period of time is good. I've heard other experts say, doing, like, if you really are toxic, to do 15 of them in 30 days. That's like literally doing one every other day. I can't recommend or suggest. I'm just going off of what other people have said.
Yeah.
But I have clients that come in weekly. I have clients that come in monthly. I have clients that come in, you know, quarterly, and then they'll get 3 in 1 week. So it's really up to the individual what they want to do, what they can, afford or put in their budget, and how acute or how sick they're feeling, or, what their goals are.
So awesome. So then with that, how much does it cost to get a colon hydrotherapy?
Well, the first treatment is 105, And then each treatment thereafter, we have different packages, and the after that it's $95 for just individual services, individual treatments.
Okay. That sounds awesome. The That's awesome. I think I'm glad we did this because there's so much that people don't know about the gut brain axis, how it affects the whole body. We've been taught and educated in pieces, like, the leg does this and the ear does this, and like they're not connected. And like I said, that especially in the last 20 years, uh, the research and the biomedical studies and the nutrition and detox, and we found out so much about, depression and, like you said, ADHD, this detox. We are literally killing ourselves with toxins, and we don't know it because we watch ourselves, and it's amazing to me. I get 25-year-olds that come in, and they're coming with joint pain and stomach problems, and they go, "Well, I'm just getting older."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Dude, you're 25. You're still a baby."
Yep.
They said, "We're not supposed to break down that much at all, and much less coming to expect it." And I think one of the problems is that if we think it's normal, then why would you do anything to try to fix normal? Because it's not. And we've been told by authorities with a lot of white coats on and really expensive wallpaper and degrees and certification that this is normal. And it's not. We are not designed for
Right.
this type of environment, and it's not okay. And
Right.
so, like you said, you're not a licensed healthcare practitioner, and I want to say sick care practitioner because you are a healthcare practitioner. So they kind of gag us in the vet because, like, legally you're only allowed to say cure or treat with drugs and surgery. So we're going to talk about supporting and enhancing and uplifting our body's natural processes. And the body was made perfect design and
Mm-hmm.
and in perfect
Right.
harmony. There's maybe 2% of the diseases that are actually genetic mutations. And we're talking about, Downs and type 1 diabetes and things like that, that are little schisms on the thing. But most of the stuff that we're dealing with is stuff that we were perfectly capable of dealing with. And
Yeah.
so this is a good way to start out because we should be we're we're inundated with things about how to put good stuff in, but we've
Mm-hmm.
got to make sure that the bad stuff coming out as well. And you don't want to have a shitty life, so you want to let all that
No.
go. So
No.
that'll be good. So with that, I'm going to respect your time. We're gonna put a pin in this, and I want to go back over and let everybody know how awesome that you are. When thank you for coming on. And this is Dr. Bill Janishak with Paula Schlue, the colon queen. Um, and you can get all that information in the show notes and everything else, and we'll get it out there. So this is the Conquering Stress podcast. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and we'll get back to you. Peace.